G'day guys, welcome to another video. Picture this scenario. You are a million miles away in the bush all by yourself, overlanding. You've been on corrugations for days, your tyres are down to 25 psi, and you finally make it to a sealed road. It's time to inflate your tyres, but your air compressor is completely dead. You check the fuse, you check the wiring, it is completely dead. So, how do you inflate your tyres without an air compressor? Well, this video is all about exactly how to do that. Oh yes. Okay, so this video is all about the ancient art of bush mechanics. For those not familiar with the term, bush mechanics is all about doing a repair in the bush with the most basic of tools to get yourself up and running and back to civilization so you can do a proper repair or to get yourself home. Quite often it involves using whatever you can find around you, using some gaffer tape or some fencing wire or whatever, doing whatever it takes to get yourself up and running. So this video is all about how to inflate your tyres without an air compressor. Now you need two things to make this work. The first thing is a piece of rubber hose. So I have a piece of rubber hose here and it has these tyre valve clamps on the end. And there you go. So if you don't have one of these, you can make one up, you can buy one. You can get adapters to go from your air compressor's air hose to tyre valve clips on either end. Or you can use what I have here. I'm using the Maxtrax Inflate. And this is essentially two lengths of rubber hose joined together in the middle. But ignoring the middle part, we have one long piece of rubber hose with two tyre valve clips on either end. So that is step one. So this tip basically relies on simple physics. So if I plug a bit of hose between two tyres, the pressure will equalize, resulting in roughly the same pressure in each tyre. So based on that principle, the way this trick works, first of all, you need a rubber hose. We've already talked about that. This is our rubber hose that we're going to use today. And we need a tank of compressed air. Now my car already has a tank of compressed air, and so does yours, and so does every vehicle without you perhaps realizing it. The tank of compressed air I'm talking about is the spare tire. So the way this trick works is have a look at your sidewall of your tire, and somewhere on the sidewall you've got written the maximum pressure that that tire can hold. So my car has BF Goodrich TA-KO2 tires, and the maximum pressure that they can hold is 80 psi. So remember, my road pressures are 40 psi. The maximum that the tire can hold is 80. So what I'm going to do is, before I leave home, I'm going to inflate my spare tire to 80 psi. Now, if I need to use a spare tyre because I've had a puncture and I need to replace it, fine, I can always let the pressure down and replace the tyre. But if I don't need to use that, I have a spare air tank on the back of my vehicle. Now, never ever inflate your tyres beyond the maximum rating, but it is perfectly safe to inflate it up until the maximum rating. So in my case, it would be 80 psi. And of course, the tyre on the back, the spare tyre, is not taking any load, so it's perfectly safe to inflate it until its maximum rating. So let's go through an example of how this would work in real life. So remember, I've got my all four tyres down to 25 psi, and I have my spare tyre at 80 psi. So I'll simply get my rubber hose, I'll connect this end to my 80 psi spare tyre, I'll connect this end to my 25 psi tyre, and I simply wait for a few minutes. And the pressure will then equalize, resulting in the same pressure in both tyres. Now the way to work out what that resulting pressure will be is you get your total volume of air is 80 psi plus 25 psi is 105 psi in total. We have two tyres, so you divide it by 2. 105 divided by 2 is 52.5 psi in each tyre. Now, bear in mind that you've got the weight of the vehicle pressing down on this tyre, so this won't reach that. But you can always get your bottle jack, put it under the axle and lift it up just enough, just to the point where the tyre is about to lift off the ground. That will, it doesn't have to come off the ground completely, but just enough, and that will take the weight of the vehicle off the tyre, allowing it to reach the same pressure as your spare tyre. So we now have 52.5 psi in that tyre, 52.5 psi in that tyre. So far so good. I unplug this from this tyre and I plug this into the other rear tyre. So now I have 52.5 psi on this side. I have 25 psi on that side. So 52.5 plus 25 is 77.5 psi. Now we divide it by 2. We'll wait for a few minutes. Divide that by 2 is 38.25 psi in each rear tyre. Now 38.25 is really close to 40 psi. It's good enough to drive on a sealed road at proper highway speeds. So now to do the front two tyres, well, we've got 52.5 psi on the spare tyre. So we take that off and we put it on the front. And now we connect the air hose between our 52.5 psi front tyre and the 25 psi other front tyre. So 52.5 plus 25 is 77.5 psi. Wait a while for the pressure to equalise. Divided by 2, 38.25 psi in both tyres. So now we've got 38.25 psi in all four tyres, and the spare tyre is 25 psi. Now that is perfectly reasonable pressure to drive on at highway speeds. You'll get you back to the nearest town, and then you can inflate your tyres to 40 psi or whatever your pressure is, and inflate the back tyre back up to 80, and you can do it all again. So that's basically how the trick works. It does work, so enjoy, guys. Please bear in mind, never ever inflate your tyres beyond their maximum rated pressure. So if your tyres can't do 80 psi, then you can't use this trick. But if they can, and most good off-road tyres can do it. So that's it. That's my tip for you today, guys. Good luck, and I will see you out there on the tracks. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Click on the subscribe if you haven't already. Click the little bell so you'll be notified when I release a new video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys. See you next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting this channel. You can buy me a coffee or make a small donation at ko-fi.com/forexadventures. You can also find us on our website, forexadventures.com.au, and you can connect with us on Instagram via forexadventures_Australia. Your support means the world to us, so thank you once again for watching.